Hi and welcome to today's episode of Make Space. My name's Cara and I'm from Love Bristol Church, and Make Space is an online space for makers for a bit of creative encouragement and time for reflection too. So you're very welcome, whether this is the first time you've joined or whether you've joined before. And if you're watching the replay, thank you. And please subscribe to us on YouTube and like and share the post and the page too on Facebook. So today it's hot up here. I've chosen the warmest room in the house purposefully because I hate being cold in the winter time. But now the summer is here, or very nearly here. It's quite warm up here. I've got the window open. Hope you can hear the birds outside. And I think I should not have put my dunkers on today, much as though I love them. They're a bit warm. So yeah, I think they're a bit too warm. So today we're going to have our meditation time. I've got some things to talk to you about after that. So we'll get going. To start with, I found a quote that I'd like to read to you. It's from a lady that I've mentioned before. A lady called Emily Freeman, who's written a book called A Million Little Ways, Discover the Art That You Were Meant to Live. So here's this quote from her. Oh no, that's the wrong one, beg your pardon. Okay, try this one. Right, that's better. And believing him feels impossible. That's believing God. And believing him feels impossible until we do. Like a miracle, like lukewarm water turning Merlot red right there in the cup. And hope sprouts new, because God doesn't give us a list. He invites us into the story. God is not a technician. God is an artist. This is the God who made you, the same God who lives inside you. He comes into us, then comes out of us in a million little ways. That's why there's freedom, even in the blah. Hope, even in the dark. Love, even in the fear. There you go. So what I'd like to talk to you a bit about today is really one of the reasons why I started Make Space. And I'd like to talk to you a bit about my own faith in Jesus and how that influences what I do, and the whole reason really for starting Make Space. And so that my reflection today and my meditation today is going to be about Jesus. And I make no apologies for that, because he is the one that's made a huge difference in my life. And I'd like to share some of that with you. So this is what this is about today, this meditation. Do you know who I am? Got to find my notes. Hold on a minute. Yeah, here we go. So get yourselves comfortable. Make yourself present in the moment. Try and put down the stuff that's hassling you in your mind, and just try and be open to whatever is coming your way right in this moment. So here we go. Do you know who I am? I'm always here. I'm always with you. I'm always for you. Yes, that's right. I'm for you. I'm the Prince of Peace. I'm the rescuer. I'm the healer. I am all powerful. And I also want to be your friend. I want to get to know you. I want you to come with me, to follow me, and I will show you true life, real life, a life full of joy and adventure. It will be thrilling, but it will also be costly. I will ask you to put aside things that you have put before me and make choices about the path you take. I promise you this though, excuse me, it will be worth it. For whatever you give up for me, I will give you more. I have laid out a feast for you, an abundant feast. And all you have to do is accept me and come and taste the good things that I have provided for you. I am your Lord, the one who saves you. I save you from your past, from your mistakes, and from the things you've done wrong. I save you from a selfish, limiting life and bring you into one of freedom. It's not just about this life either, but a life with me forever, in eternity. No more fear in death, for I go on beyond death into a life richer than you could ever have imagined. Do you know who I am? My name is Jesus. I died and came back to life so that you can be forgiven, to make you new, and to have a friendship with me. I died so that you no longer have to be a slave to old ways of doing things, a slave to fear and limited by death. I came back to life so that my power might live in you, power to live a new and transformed life. I died and came back to life to set you free so that you might live forever with me. Will you accept me today? All it takes to begin a new life in me is to turn away from things you have done wrong and turn towards me, to ask me into your life. I will never leave you. I have come that you may have life and have it to the full. There you go. I'm going to follow up a bit on that a bit later. But I just wanted to talk to you this morning about the journey that I've taken with MakeSpace. And my reason for doing that is that you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I was wondering whether or not to continue with the online part of MakeSpace. And actually today I've come to the decision that this is going to be the last online episode of MakeSpace in this form. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about why I've come to that decision, and just just tell you a little bit about what's informed my own journey with it, really. I do envisage it kind of carrying on in some shape or form. And so I will say a little bit about that when I come to the end. But I think I need to scale back this online stuff in order to be able to carry it forward. And also, I think it's important that I go with where there is life. And actually, I've been finding it quite hard. I've been finding it quite hard to sustain because it's quite a lot of work. And I don't always, it's not always easy to get support from other people and that kind of thing. So I've decided that actually where I'm at with it and what would be a more fruitful way forward is to actually scale back the online stuff a little bit and pursue something more in person. So I'm just so grateful to all of those people who have supported it this far. A particular mention goes to Neve for being so faithful. Thank you, Neve. You're a star. You're such an encouragement. And also Ruth, who's followed it quite regularly as well from the start. So thank you both. And I hope you've got something out of it anyway. And as I say, who knows? I might actually take it online in some form, but just not quite in this format. So I wanted to sort of review a little bit about how I started. I'm just going to have a look at the comments first. Oh, it's Tim. Hi, Tim, and Neve, and Colin. Hello to you. Yeah. So I just wanted to review a little bit about where things have come from. And I started Make Space in the middle of lockdown, and so we were knee deep in lockdown when I started it. And the reason for doing it was because I was aware that it was just so difficult to make connection with people. A lot of people feeling very isolated, and a lot of people struggling with their mental health. And things have shifted, of course. We're now sort of coming out of lockdown much more, although who knows what we'll what we'll end up doing. But I think things are looking more hopeful with the vaccine and stuff, that we won't be going into quite the extremity of lockdown as we have been. So here's hoping. And so I kind of feel like the season's shifting anyway, and that something that was relevant, particularly for lockdown, maybe isn't quite as relevant now. And one of my primary reasons for starting it was because I felt I had something to offer. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. I had something to offer in my love of creativity that could help with the feelings of isolation and also the mental health struggles. Having had mental health struggles of my own, I know that creativity has made an enormous difference to me. I find it very soothing, and it's just very good to make something. It kind of gives you a sense of self-worth and achievement, and it's a meditative and just a healing thing really to be able to do. And also, like, through having my own mental health struggles, I've discovered strategies that can help me over the course of many years. And I kind of felt like I had something that I could share with others who were struggling too. And one of the main reasons for doing it was because, I am passionate about creativity in all its forms, and I'm still passionate about creativity. I think it's one of the things that gives me the most hope and joy. I think there's just something, I don't know, it's just hopeful. I can't really describe it more than that. I think sometimes you can tap into something and it just gives you a sense of new possibilities, of things that are beyond what you could have imagined, and you just don't know always what the outcome's going to be. And so it ends up taking you to places that you never thought you could go. So there is that sense of real hope in it and adventure. And for me, it's very much a reflection of who I was made to be, and a reflection of the one who made me. And it's just such a huge part of my life to be able to be creative, because it reflects the image of our Creator God, the one who made me. And also, I think there's a recognition in this time, in this day and age, that it's actually quite difficult to pursue creativity, because creativity isn't something that's always very highly valued in our culture. So certainly things like, financial sustainability is often quite hard if you decide to pursue something creative. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. Quite apart from that, of course, we should do it. And also, I think, particularly with lockdown and with all the stuff that's happened with COVID, we've actually come to realise that art has a very significant part in our lives, and people have really missed the arts during lockdown, and that it has a very vital part to play in our mental and emotional well-being. And we also need support to be creative. And that's another reason why I started doing Make Space. We need to stand alongside one another and support one another to be creative, particularly as it's not always easy in our culture to do that. And so, yeah, I'm passionate about creativity. And as I've also tried to reflect, is that I'm passionate about the one who made us and the one who made me. And for me anyway, my creativity can't really be separated from that. It can't really be separated from the knowledge that I am a child of God. I am made in God's image. It's just so much a part of who I am, and a huge part of who I believe that God has made me to be. And part of my own journey sort of over the years has been very much to acknowledge the part that creativity plays in my life, and how important it is for me to explore that as something that God has made me to be. And God values creativity very highly. There's all sorts of things in the Bible about it, and right from the early times when he gifted people with particular creative talents in order that they might make things that would reflect him and bring him glory and show him to other people. So it's very much part of who he is and who I am. And also, just Jesus has made a huge difference in my life. Like, I was, as a child, full of fear, and a young adult really, full of fear and insecurity. And as I said, I began to have mental health struggles when I was as a teenager, and a lot of that was due to lack of confidence and just rejection and struggles at school and all sorts of things. And it really dominated my life. It made things difficult on a day-to-day basis. Had a lot of anxiety and fear, and it wasn't really until I went to university that I found out who Jesus really was. And he absolutely blew me away at university. I discovered that Jesus was real in a way that it's almost difficult to explain. But I read the Bible and I saw that the things that happened in the Bible were still happening today. And that means supernatural things, supernatural miracles, supernatural signs, and that him in my life made a very real difference. And there was a sense of hope and just transformation. And I began to see things in a completely different way, because I knew for the first time that him living in me was a very real thing. It was a very real power that I couldn't deny. I just could not deny the evidence for him, because I'd seen so many examples of him just showing up and doing stuff and healing people and speaking to people. One of the things I've done on Make Space is I've I've tried to be open to what I felt God saying to me for other people. And I've seen him time and time again speak very specifically into the lives of other people, giving details that nobody could possibly have known, things that people had kept private for many years. And God knows these things. He knows the details of our lives. And when he speaks, he can speak with extreme accuracy about those things because he's God, and yet there's no other way that he could possibly have known that. And I've seen that happen time and time again. And so I say I just cannot deny the reality of his existence and how that has made a huge difference in my life. And some of the things that have changed in me changed instantly, when I realized who Jesus was, and changed my perspective and changed my sense of hope and security. Those things happened instantly, but some other things have happened over time and have taken time to sort out. There's been healing over time. And one of the things that particularly affects mental health is, our thought life. And it says in the Bible, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that is incredibly key if you have mental health issues. We need to address the thoughts we have in our minds, and knowing the truth of who Jesus is and what he thinks about me has enabled me to transform my thinking, and that in turn has transformed my mental health. And that's been a process. It's been a process of healing. Sometimes Jesus uncovers things that have wounded us in the past and brings healing, but part of the process as well is about training yourself to recognize when you're believing things that he doesn't think about you. So the idea is that I need to train my thinking to believe what Jesus says about me, and that sets me free. It's a transformative power. I mean, that there is value in counselling and in CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. There is real value in that, and I do believe in pursuing a medical route as well to help you with your mental health, because those things, medication, I believe God's given us those things to help, and they have certainly helped me. And I've taken medication for a long time, and it's been very helpful in my life, and I'm very thankful to God to that. But one of the underlying things for me that has made the biggest difference is actually changing what I believe and changing what I think. And that's been a process of Jesus helping me. Because one of the things that happens as well when Jesus comes into your life is that he gives you the power to be transformed by the Holy Spirit. Because when he died and rose again, it meant that he gave us the Holy Spirit. That's him, actually. That's his power living within us. And he's given me that power to live out a new life. I'm not doing it in my own strength. I couldn't do it in my own strength. It's not about following rules or trying to be better or trying to achieve a certain standard. It's because Jesus sends his Holy Spirit, and it's a real living power. It is real. It is tangible. You can sense his presence. When he's living within you, it gives you the power to live a life according to the way that he wants us to live. And it sets you free, and it has set me free of an awful lot of fear and insecurity. So that was one of my main motivations, really, behind starting MakeSpace, was my relationship with Jesus, and just the knowledge of how much difference that made in my life and how I wanted to share that. So what now then? So I've said already that I'm thinking about changing tack with MakeSpace and maybe pulling back a bit on the online stuff. Sorry, not the camera. pulling back a bit on the online stuff because I always wanted to pursue things more in person. And one of the things I'm planning on doing is working with my church, Love Bristol, to maybe set up some in-person sort of creative sessions with people, just as a therapeutic space for people to come and enjoy being creative, and also just have some support and friendship, and maybe some help too with mental health issues. So that's one of the things that I want to do, which hasn't been possible up to now because of lockdown, but now we're coming out of lockdown, that's something I can think about doing. So that's one of the ways forward. I might yet maintain some online presence. I'm thinking that maybe I can do some audio meditation and that kind of thing, which is a little bit less high maintenance than the online streaming stuff, and sort of keep you updated about things that I'm thinking about doing. So that is certainly something that could happen in the future. So just to finish with, I've got a blessing to read right at the end from John O'Donoghue, who I've read before. But I just want to come back to something that Emily Freeman said, the quote at the beginning, which says, "Believing him feels impossible until you do." Now, that's a lot of weight behind it, because, you know, if you're a person who doesn't have any faith or who's never really considered Jesus, it just feels so out there and doesn't always seem like within your grasp. But it's not until you actually take the step that things start to make sense and everything falls into place. So I just wanted to offer an opportunity before I finish today, just to pray a prayer with me, if you'd like to do that. And all I want to say is that Jesus wants to be part of your life, and he wants a relationship with you. And so I'm going to pray a prayer which, if you want to pray it with me, please do. And it acknowledges that, you know, part of living without him means that we've not accepted him in our lives, we've turned our back on him. And so we're just saying sorry for doing that, turning towards him, and then asking him to come into our lives, asking him to come into your life. So I'm going to pray that prayer. And if you want to, I'll say it one phrase at a time, and you just pray it with me. Okay? So here we go. Jesus, I need you. So you can pray that. I know that my life isn't all I want it to be, and I've turned away from you. I know that you died and came back to life so that I could be forgiven and begin a new life forever with you. I turn away from the things I have done wrong and turn towards you. Jesus, I ask you to come into my life as my Lord and the one who saves me and rescues me. Come and fill me with the power of your Spirit to begin a new life with you. So there you go. If you've prayed that prayer, I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to find out any more about what it means to follow Jesus, then I'll put a link in the comments afterwards, which shows you, there's a series of videos by an organisation called Alpha, and they help you to understand a bit more what it means to follow Jesus, and if you've got any questions about stuff. But if you have got any questions about things, please feel free to contact me, or there's the church that I go to as well, Love Bristol Church, their Facebook page. If you contact anybody on there and message them, they'd only be too happy to help you. So there you go. I'd love to hear from you. And before we finish today, I'm just going to say a blessing over us. And again, this is from John O'Donoghue, and I love this, so I hope you appreciate it too. May the light of your soul guide you. May the light of your soul bless the work you do with the secret love and warmth of your heart. May you see in what you do the beauty of your own soul. May the sacredness of your work bring healing, light, and renewal to those who work with you and those who see and receive your work. May your work never weary you. May it release within you well springs of refreshment, inspiration, and excitement. May you be present in what you do. May you never become lost in the bland absences. May the day never burden. May dawn find you awake and alert, approaching your new day with dreams, possibilities, and promises. May evening find you gracious and fulfilled. May you go into the night blessed, sheltered, and protected. May your soul calm, console, and renew you. Oh, there you go. God bless you. And thanks very much for joining me today and any other sessions that you may have joined into. I still really love to hear from you, and keep an eye on our Facebook page to see what we're doing, to see what I get up to next. So I will let you know. All right, thanks very much for joining. See you soon. Take care. Bye.